everyone, welcome back to Simply Trade Roundup. My name's Annik. I'll be your host today, as I am every single week. And if you don't know me by now, I choose trade topics and trade experts to come on the podcast, and we just discuss everything that is going on in trade or even in business, as I am kind of deviating now. Now today is a special day because as always, I have guests with me, but we are discussing a topic that I have not touched on, which is great. But first of all, we have Colleen here. Hi, Colleen. Great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And, well, this is in person, which is also different for me because I usually am online and virtually, which is not always my best. I think I like to have people in front of me. It's easier to talk to and it just feels more personal, right? And I hope it's good for the listener or watcher, whatever there is, so they can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Spotify or Apple, whatever there is. Anyways, we are here at the ICPA Conference, and you are here as an attendee, or do you have a booth?
I'm a sponsor.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And as you should, as a recruiting company, right? I think that is necessary at this place. I mean, there's everything about education, but just talking to so many people.
Right.
And trade is such a, to be honest, hard place to just rank up and I don't know, get through. I think starting from college.
Right. Definitely.
How do you get into trade? And I really kind of want to start with what your company even does, recruiting in trade.
Definitely. So I'm with Trade Compliance Recruiting Solutions. So we specialize exclusively in trade compliance positions. So we recruit for positions in import compliance, export controls, brokerage.
Okay, so there is a lot of certifications out there. There's the licensed customs broker exam, and lots of, I would say, accreditations that
Definitely
people in trade need to get to at one point. Right. If you want to be super successful, right? It's just that accredits you. That's what people are looking for. But are these companies looking for that as you enter the space of trade?
I don't think so. I think they're looking for someone who would, like I said, has that passion or that interest in understanding global trade. And then I would recommend that people get that hands-on experience first, get into a company, whether it's on the brokerage side, import side, export side, and then get the experience and then go for the certifications.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And I think, as for any job, if you don't have hands-on experience, it's hard. Because you learn something in college, and then you get to the space, and it's just like, what? I didn't learn this in college, right?
Right.
In any space, in marketing and finance, and you have kind of a layout of what it looks like, but you're not really sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's say, obviously, we're at ICPA, and everything is about learning, and it also is about everything we just discussed.
Right.
But now you're a trade professional already, and you want a new job, or you lost your job or whatever, but you have these certifications, you have a customs broker exam, but you're kind of out of the loop on, how do I get my resume to look like what they're looking for?
Definitely.
So how do you help these kind of people?
Yeah. So we actually have a resume writing guide that we share with any candidates that reach out to us. My team will review people's resumes, provide feedback and tips, just to make sure that it looks professional, that it has consistency, that it has some of those keywords that companies are looking for, some of the quantitative, qualitative information, just to really want our candidates' resumes to pop out. Resumes can be very subjective. I like to keep them clear, concise, to the point, short, but with some really depth of information in that. We see all types of resumes. That could be a whole nother podcast that we can do another time about resumes. But if anyone reaches out to us, that's one of the services that we provide. So like I said, my team will review resumes, will provide feedback. We will look at our position, see if we have anything that's available. And we might not have something for someone right away. But as long as we've made that connection, we understand what they're looking for, what their areas of expertise are, what location they're at. Are they looking for remote, hybrid, in office? Then we keep our eye out for our candidates. Yeah. So then maybe it might be 2 months down the road that something comes up and we're like, oh, this person will be perfect. Let's reach out to them. And then you kind of like.
Is it ever that you get any people that are, come to you and say, hey, this is what I get paid at my current job. Do you think I should get paid more? Or do you think there's more possibilities? I feel like that's what people would be asking.
Yeah. So every year we put together a salary analysis report, and that report is based on positions that we've actually worked and placed in the previous year. So we have a report on our website. We post it up on LinkedIn. We post it through ICPA. So it's getting out to the industry and people so that they can see like what's the average that leads. Right. So for the ranges at specialist level up to director, senior director. And then we also kind of highlight some of the trends that we're seeing with hiring, some suggestions of what companies could do to be a little more appealing to candidates and kind of get that position filled more quickly. Same thing on the candidate side of what they can do to get that right fit.
Yeah, and this is from bottom level to top level, right? You mentioned director, and it seems unlikely for people to say, "Oh, I'm going to go to a recruiting company to get a director position."
Yep.
You feel like sometimes it's word of mouth, or just within the company, you see in the shore, you just move up.
Yeah.
Do you get any of those requests and
definitely
and success?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, each place from analyst level, specialist level, up to VP. Yeah. So, and everything in between across all industries. So I would say any connection that you can make, if you're looking for something, if you're building your team, leverage the network, build that extra connection. What we can do is we work really closely with our clients to understand what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And then we help your resume get to the top of it. It doesn't get lost in a black hole. It doesn't get, lost or screened out through an AI tool.
Right.
So if they're partnering with us, they know that we've done our due diligence. We've worked with our candidates to say, hey, this is a good trusted candidate. So we get you to the IC.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good point that you bring up, is because you have that personal level where you can give that candidate that comes to you a little reassurance and say, we have a good connection with all these companies where we can say, if we know you and we see, you are capable, we can lead that forward.
Yes.
Actually, does that happen where I don't know, this is a question, but if someone comes to you and you're like, I don't know how I can find this guy a job, it's just where you have to advise them, look, I guess you need to get more opportunities or a little bit of a different.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, sure. And that's, like I said, we want to help people throughout their career.
Yeah.
So we act as mentors. We provide that guidance and advice, whether it is like, hey, maybe your next step isn't this career path. Maybe it's something more like this that's going to build up that experience to get you to that next place. Or, just really making sure that people are being with what they're living.
Yeah. And I think that's important. Mentorship is so important, I think. Now, we talked about the resume process. And after that, there's interviews. Some companies have intensive interviews, especially when it gets to the tech and stuff. Obviously, you're like compliance here, even though there's now AI companies. So kind of, I think it puts a little arrow to your work, because now you not only have the regular trade compliance, but you also have the I spaces, and kind of, adds to the pool, I guess.
Yeah.
But what does that look like? Do you help them navigate through that as well, or is there any tool you have? Or
when we get our candidates to that point, yes, we do screening, and then when we submit and get into interview, then we provide some tips and kind of how to prepare.
Yeah.
We would also do interview prep with a candidate.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay, great.
The interview process can be challenging.
Yeah.
People, it's very comfortable and easy for them, and some people, they just need a little bit more prep to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But then I also say on the flip side with companies, don't make a really drawn out process. There's some of these positions you don't even have a six rounds or an interview.
Yeah.
Or, we've got companies that do assessments and things like that, and that's completely fine. But maybe not in a specialist. But really not in that. And, so it's really, I think, about getting to know a candidate, and maybe actually an interview or an assessment, but making sure that you're respecting each other's time.
And are there a lot of jobs out there right now?
Oh, they do.
Really?
With so many jobs. They are busier than they've ever been.
And okay, and is there enough people to want these?
It is a really tight market, very tight market. We have seen that our process, when we get partnered with the company and we open a position, we used to average about 60 days for placement, and now we're seeing it average around 75 days.
Really?
And that's, I think is going to be even go a little bit longer. But
Yeah.
I think I wish I had more information on trend,
Yeah.
but I think that it's just a really tight market. I think if people are working in a certain company and maybe they're remote, they don't necessarily want to leave that for a hybrid or in office visits.
Yeah.
This is another thing that people really want that. And also, I just think are busy. Like compliance professionals are busy. So even if they may be looking for something, they may not have the time to give it the attention. And so,
But what's your encouragement to those people right now that are like, I don't know, it's just this company needs help, they need someone, but I also just am underpaid, and yeah, you know, and companies face their own struggles, but we know what's right for us, and
right.
and then we need to move forward if that's what it takes. But what's the encouragement to do that and to know that there's something out there for everyone?
Yep, exactly. Right, for sure. I just really stress that people be patient through the process and don't jump into something. Yeah, really make sure that it's right for you. Like, really make sure that you're clear on what you're wanting. Like, what does that next role look like for you? What is that, what challenges, what do you want to learn, grow? I don't like to see people who are just like, I'm frustrated and make an emotional decision. I really think people need to be very clear about what they want and not settle for something.
Emotional decisions, right? It's thing I like to do.
Yeah, definitely. But it is so busy right now. There are so many jobs. We're a small boutique recruiting company. But like I said, we're busier than it's ever been.
Well, that's great, but it's not to say that no one should reach out. Everyone should reach out to you if they have the job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but
exactly. But we got, yes.
You're good busy, you know?
Yeah.
And no, that's great that you give them the tools, and especially, being at this conference, rounding this up. And the starting place is the education part of it. And I see you're educating people on, how to do that process. And that's fantastic. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for doing this interview with me here in person, which is incredible.
Great.
So, and thank you to our listeners, as always. We will be back next Monday with some fun stuff. I hope you have an incredible week, and we'll see you back soon. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you.